What's going on, guys? I'm Nick the Tutor, and today we're here to talk about college essays. And in this video, I'm going to give you my top 8 most important things to consider when writing your college essay. I'm going to go over the top 8 things that you need to do to make the most compelling college essay when you're applying to college next year. Now, this is important to understand that this is my guide for the top 8 things that will help you improve your college essay. At the same time, there's many more things that go into a college essay, but in this video, I'm going to give you my top 8, and at the end of the video, I'm going to give you a bonus tip, so make sure to look out for that. If you like this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, helps me continue to make this content for you guys, but let's get right into it. All right, so number 1 on my list for making a compelling college essay is going to be understanding the prompts. Now, luckily, this is pretty easy. We will put a link below to the prompts for this year. They may change for next year. They can change the prompts year over year, but once again, the prompts relate to you, right? The prompts are asking you about things you did, hardships you faced, personal growth you went through, but at the end of the prompts, they do have an additional catch-all prompt, which allows you to basically write whatever you want. So you want to review the prompts because the prompts give you a good idea of the kind of content that colleges are looking for, but at the end of the day, realistically, you can write whatever you want in there, but of course, you want to make sure that's appropriate and good for a college setting. Number 2, you want to make sure to brainstorm. Brainstorming is probably the most important part of the college essay writing process. We're going to go over the actual writing later, and that's important as well, but I think the topic and the subject matter is what really is the make or break thing for an essay. If you have some incredibly interesting, unique subject matter for your essay, it's going to impress someone from a college without a doubt. So brainstorming is most important. Now, what do you do to brainstorm for a college essay? Well, I want you to kind of move away from thinking of the traditional college essay topics that come up in your mind. I want you to move away from thinking about hardship, unless of course it's something major. I want you to move away from thinking about challenges that you overcame, unless it's something major. I want you to think about simple, little, everyday things you care about, passions you have, things you do with family and friends. The things that make you tick on an everyday basis are frankly more interesting to a college than a minor challenge that you overcame. So this is a hard line to draw here because obviously some challenges are so significant that you should put them in a college essay. But for the most part, I'm going to say if you can write a creative college essay about something you love that's unique to you that they have not heard before, that's going to be the most compelling and most interesting college essay to the person reading it, and they're really going to love that college essay. So you really want to spend most of your time on the brainstorming process. I work with hundreds of students every year on this, and that's the part that we spend the most time on. So definitely check that out. All right, number 3, you want your college essay to have a very strong main idea. And what I mean by this is if you look at the Johns Hopkins Essays That Worked website, I'll put that in the description of this video as well. That website has sample college essays that Johns Hopkins really loved, and it also has the admission committee comments on the essay. And those comments are gold because those comments tell you what they liked about the essay. And what you can see in those comments is that the people reading the essays can boil the essay down to 2 or 3 main points that the student is telling the reader about themselves. And that makes their job very easy. They don't want to have to dig through your essay to figure out what you're trying to say. You want to make it very clear and very strong. And of course, you want those things to be reflecting positively on you. So having a strong and clear main driving point behind your essay, what you're trying to tell them about you, is hugely important, and you want to make that clear. All right, number 4 most important thing for you guys to do is make sure to have your unique voice in your essay. One of the biggest mistakes that students make is get too much help from outside forces in the writing process of the essay. You could have the best idea ever, but if it's written by a 45-year-old man, it's not going to be a successful college essay. And no, I am not 45 years old. But my point is, if someone else writes your college essay for you or even has major input in the writing, that's going to affect the voice. They want to hear from you. Now, of course, we don't want mistakes. We don't want grammar and spelling errors, but those aren't the biggest deal. You really want the essay to reflect you as a person and your unique writing style. And I can tell immediately. I've even read student essays where one paragraph was written by a parent and said that this paragraph sounds off from the rest of the paragraph. So it can easily be determined. Also, colleges have tools to tell whether you wrote your essay with AI. So the reason that AI is not great to use to write a college essay essay is because number one, it can be sniffed out by the college, but realistically, number two, it does not have your voice, right? It has its own voice, and that's not the voice that we want. So we want your unique personality, the vocabulary that you use, your style to come through in the essay. All right, number five is you want to showcase some sort of personal growth. Now, this personal growth can happen in many different ways. You can become mature, you can become more educated, you can become more tolerant, you can become more enlightened. Whatever you have become over the past few years, you want to express that. So you really want to express some sort of growth because colleges are looking for people that will grow into college. College is a transformative experience for students. It was a transformative experience for me, and you grow up a lot when you go to college. You become more mature, you become more professional, you become a better student, better person. They want to see that growth starting. They don't want you to stay the same from age 17 to age 22. They want you to experience growth. So showing that you can grow as a person, you can change, you can alter your opinion, you can take someone else into consideration. Those are extremely important things to show in a college essay. Now, do you have to make your college essay about personal growth? No, but it's a great thing to include and a great thing to weave in to the essay to be successful. All right, number six, one of the most important underrated things to do in your college essay to improve it is to craft an incredibly interesting and unique introduction. The introduction is the first thing that they read, of course, when they're reading a college essay. So if you don't catch someone's attention in that first minute or two of them reading, then you may lose their attention for the entirety of your essay. So having a unique introduction is hugely important. Now, you do not want to start your essay with like a quote from a famous person. You want to start it with something that's a little bit outside of the box. That is tough to do, right? So if you feel like I'm not the most creative writer, you want to do your best to make it as creative as possible, and you want to leave something to be desired. You don't want to start your essay off with saying something like, one thing that happened to me changed my life forever. Like, you don't want to give the essay away in the beginning, right? So you need to leave a little bit to be desired, leave a little bit of mystery, but also make it creative. If you feel like someone else could write the same exact thing that you're writing in your introduction or your essay as a whole, you definitely want to alter it to make sure it's more personalized and unique. So the introduction be the same thing. So I just want to highlight most of your time should be spent on the introduction because that is the first thing that they're reading, and that's really your opportunity to be creative or as creative as you can possibly be. All right, number seven, you need to create a cohesive narrative. So we just talked about the introduction and we can't leave out the rest of the essay. The essay has to have a flow to it. It needs to have an organization. I oftentimes like essays that have a time-related flow, so they have a beginning, middle, and end. That's really helpful. Obviously, some more creative essays will not have that time flow, but it needs to have some cohesion where the paragraphs connect. I think a lot of times students try to jam too many ideas in an essay. So say you have two things you might want to write about, right? If you try to fit two things within 650 words, the essay will sound choppy. You'll have one essay at the top and then another essay at the bottom, or maybe they intermix a little bit, and it will be confusing to the reader. So you want to make sure to work on your transition sentences and to make sure your paragraphs connect and have a really strong intro and conclusion. That will help make the essay more cohesive. So spend a lot of time on the intro, the conclusion, and the transition sentences to make a cohesive essay. All right, number eight, you guys have to edit and proofread your essay. I haven't seen any student write their essay perfectly the first time out. You want to let it sit for a little bit. Now, of course, you want to edit it for grammar and spelling. That's where tools can come into play, like Grammarly. Obviously, Microsoft Word can, do that for you as well. But you want to make sure that is all taken care of. But at the same time, you want to make sure that you go through multiple drafts of your essay trying to improve it. So you need to use drafting methodology to make your essay better. Sometimes you want to even try to totally rewrite the essay and take elements of the two drafts and put the best elements together. Proofreading, of course, is important, but once again, editing and re-editing your essay to a certain degree is hugely helpful in making it the best it could possibly be. This process is important because sometimes you're going to change entire paragraphs, change the structure of the paragraphs, order of things. This is hugely important. Now, of course, there's an instance where someone gets it right the first time, but at the same time, you want to make sure that you do your best to make the essay top-notch quality. All right, guys, I promised you some bonus tips, so let's get into those. Number one, you want to start this process early. I think one of the biggest mistakes students make is starting their college essay process in like September or October. That becomes extremely challenging because what you don't have time for is the brainstorming, and that is the most important part, that you pick a suitable topic for your essay. If you start earlier, you have much more time to brainstorm at your own pace and make sure that your essay is about an amazing, unique topic that no one else could write. If you start a month before it's due, you think about, I have to write it as well. You really just crunch down the brainstorming and you start writing, and then you end up with a topic that's either overused or something that they've heard before. So that's my first bonus tip. My second bonus tip is you want to make sure to avoid being overly critical of those around you. So a lot of college essays I see that take kind of a negative tone, or maybe critical of parents or critical of teachers or critical of friends, like maybe there's some bullying going on, maybe there's an issue in the family, so on and so forth. I would just avoid those topics on college essays. You want to think along the lines of positive and uplifting. You want to make sure that the person reads your essay not feeling sorry for you or feeling bad about something that happened to you, but feeling motivated and positive about the growth that you've gone through, the changes that you've made in your own life, your passions, your hobbies, whatever it may be. They want to be on a positive tone and leave your essay feeling happy and enlightened by what you said to them. So once again, avoid negative tones and avoid criticizing others. If you have a question about college essays, drop it in the comment section below. I'm going to keep dropping videos on the digital SAT, ACT, APs, and college essays, so make sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of this valuable content for getting into college. And once again, thank you guys for watching this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.